Hello, beautiful ones. Welcome to this fortnight's coaching transmission. The subject that I'm going to be delving into today is about energy and alignment. So it is really key for us to understand from a very empowered space that we are energy and that everything we call into our lives is a direct result of the energy of which we are sending out. When our energy is vibrating at a certain frequency, and that frequency is a higher frequency that is aligned with frequencies such as love, abundance, joy, bliss, prosperity, our higher intellect and wisdom, then we're able to attract and call that energy back to us. Like attracts like. Vibration attracts vibration. Whatever vibration we send out is that of which we will receive back. So I want to drop into this subject today to really delve into why it's important that we lay the foundation for our energetics to be clear, clean, and high frequency. So this is the problem for so many people in business, especially when they believe that they can put a strategy together and the strategy that they use for their business is going to work regardless of what their energetics are doing, saying, feeling, experiencing. If I have all of the strategy in the world for my business and it's put together by the best people and it's the most amazing framework and the best marketing and the best ads and the best this and the best that, if I have all that in mind and it's all locked in, it's still not going to bring me what I want if my energy does not match my vision. Let's look at that in more detail. In different aspects. If I want to call in this beautiful relationship with a new partner or with a partner, finding this divine man or divine woman, and I really want that, and I put it out there from a place that is not matching the vision, so I don't believe I'm worthy of it, or I don't believe it's possible, or I believe there's no man or woman that would ever love me, or I'm not good enough, etc., then the energy that I'm sending out is not matching the vision that I'm trying to call in. So I then will draw back to me something that does not meet what I'm actually wanting. And so this is why it's important that we need to work with our own energetics to get them at a frequency which is really matching that of which we want to call back to us. All of us, we have a resonance and frequency that we are vibrating at all of the time. And this changes and fluctuates because that's what human beings do. We change and we fluctuate. Some days it's easier for us to be at this higher frequency of energy, feeling light, feeling all pervading, feeling like we can manifest whatever we want, feeling in flow with the universe. And then other days, there'll be various things that will affect our energy. They will drain us and drag us down, and it might be blockages and imbalances and thoughts and negative patternings and situations, whatever it is. We're human beings, and this is always going to happen. But we do owe it to ourselves to put things into place that work with our energetics so that we have tools in place to really dissolve and work through these things that potentially can damage our frequency and bring our frequency to lower spaces where we are basically meeting that danger zone of attracting things into our life that are detrimental. If I believe I'm not worthy, I'm going to attract things that are matching that frequency of lacking in worthiness. If I believe I'm not good enough, if I believe that I am not worthy of a good relationship, if I believe that I can't get clients, etc., there aren't enough clients to go around, that I'm not worthy of money, there isn't enough money to go around, then I'm sending out a frequency that shows that to be all that I'm worthy of. And that is going to be all that I'm going to bring back to myself. So what if we focus on lifting the frequency and creating a different vibration, a different cellular vibration, and we lift ourselves to a point that we can send out a different message? And the message that we can then bring back to us is one that really resonates with us from our truth. If we know we're worthy, if we know we're deserving, if we know that we have skills, and if we know we can support people and facilitate people, and that we believe all of these things because our frequency is higher, then we can draw that back to us. And this is reflective across all areas of our lives. In order to keep the frequency high, we need to practice things and devote time to those things. So we can't expect to have this high vibrational quality and frequency that radiates good things back to us if we don't actually nurture and devote time to the practices keep us in a space of high vibrational frequency. We can't expect to have that if we don't nurture it, if we don't do the work involved to create that and to call that in. And this is a piece that is really important. Whatever vibration I have in me and around me and in my energetics is a direct mirror of what I will call back. So if I believe I'm worthy of something, then I will be worthy of it. If I know what I want and coherence is my best friend, then I will bring that back to me. I will be coherent about what I want. I want 10 people in this workshop. I will get 10 people in that workshop. I want 20 people to attend this. I will get that 20 people because I know that that is what's going to happen because I've kept my frequency high enough. Practice the things that I need to practice to keep the frequency high enough so that I'm very clear in what I'm manifesting. It is really important to us in energetics that whatever we want, we believe it is possible. And we operate from a space of knowing it to be true. So if I say something, but I don't believe it, it's not going to become manifest because actually I don't believe it. And so if I don't believe it, how can it be truth? Yes, there's a process. We need to build to that truth. We need to use these high vibrational tools that I'm going to talk about to build ourselves to a place of knowing our potential and then believing our potential. And we need to match the feeling of it always with the vision of it. And this is where we often go wrong when we manifest things, is because we practice the mental body part of the visualizing it and the affirmations and all of the other stuff, but we don't practice the place of actual emotional embodiment. Emotional embodiment we need to create the feeling as if it's already happening. We need to feel it in our bodies as already being reality, already being truth, already being part of who we are, already happening. So if I want to manifest something and I want to be aligned to that manifestation, becoming reality, then I need to do the groundwork in my energetics to make sure that there is no blockages or imbalances or discrepancies or old behaviors or paradigms that are blocking me from actually believing and knowing it to be true already. In the quantum, it's already happening. In the quantum, it's already true. So how can I get myself to that place of frequency alignment to be able to call it in? Well, I need practices. What practices are they? Well, maybe there are a number of practices. We need to keep the energy channels in the body clear. 22,000 of them. Yes, that sounds like a lot. We need to keep the energy channels of the heart that make up the heart. We need to keep them clear and engaged. 108. There's 108 channels just in the heart. How do we do that? We keep ourselves in high vibrational practices. High vibrational practices will vary through the bodies. The emotional body, physical body, mental body, spiritual body will all have different high vibrational practices that we can look at, connect to, play around with. From the physical realm, we need fitness, we need movement, we need to be moving the body and creating this relationship with the energy channels so that they remain in flow. If we don't move the body in the full range of motion through all of the joints and all of the tissues and keep those 72,000 energy channels clear, then they will stagnate and block and get stuck. They will do that because they'll hold on to emotional stuff that they could be releasing with their regular movement. Any manifestation of emotional impact that is negative will be held in physical parts of the body. So then we have the physical and the emotional body holding on to stress, holding on to tension, holding on to story. And when it does that, it blocks us. So if we move regularly, dance, yoga, meditations, other somatic practices that move the body, breath work, and all these wonderful things, Qigong, Tai Chi, the list goes on and on. If we move the body, we're less likely to hold on to negative accumulation of emotional stress that blocks us in our path. Emotionally, we hold on to a lot. How can we be clear of the emotional residue? Well, we need to talk, we need to express, we need to open, chant, sing, sound, write in our journal, use other techniques that really support the emotional body to be free in its expression. We need to be comfortable with learning about our emotional identity so that we don't start following two detrimental patterns, either being emotionally volatile, so that is that excessive nature of emotional awareness, or emotionally deficient, which is that sort of avoidance and suppression of emotional impact. That sense of emotional awareness is about really acknowledging what is there emotionally and then learning our own individual ways to be free of that. The emotional body, the emotions, comes from the Latin emotion, mover, which means to move out. When we're in a good relationship with our emotional body, we're able to move the emotions out. We still feel them, we express them, and we allow them, but we don't hold them in. When we hold them in, the physical body gets blocked. Sickness, illness, and dis-ease are a manifestation of negative emotions that are held in the body. So coming to various unique, different ways and learning how to free the emotional body is paramount, absolutely essential. The mental body is often programmed with lots of conditioning that came from, stuff you've learned behaviors, the awareness in which you've created around stories, and the holding on of the past or the predicting of the future. The mental patterning can often be full of disturbance and not full of clarity, which is what we want it to be. So how do we release the emotional body regularly? Well, we make sure that we have practices in place: affirmations, chanting, sound, mental body, mindset coaching, working with writing things out in journal format, saying things, using authentic relating, being honest, all of these different things that we can do to free the mental body. And not to mention the most powerful thing, meditation. Various different types of meditation going to keep the right and left hemisphere of the brain in balance so that we are able to stay in a frequency within the mind that is clear and really, really connected to the spirit. So the mental body can become accumulated with the lower frequency of the chitta vritti, which is the chatter of the mind, and that can become really consuming and detrimental and harmful, and we lack sleep and we can't rest and we can't switch off. Or we can really allow our spiritual wisdom and insight to become part of that mental conditioning so that we are always able to stay in a space of balance, or when we are not, we're able to bring ourselves back to it quite quickly through meditative tools and processes. The spiritual body, the soul, the part of us that is the bigger picture, this part of us is innately connected to our highest potential, and it becomes accumulated with the stress of the physical, mental, emotional worlds, and then it is clouded. So was it to be clear all the time, we would be receiving the spiritual wisdom consistently and knowing how to stay on the path of alignment and stay in flow with our truth and only do the things that are right with our soul. But because of the mental, physical, emotional accumulation, that becomes clouded often, and often we can find that staying connected to our intuition and insight becomes very, very challenging. And we really want that to not be challenging. We really want that to be something that is easy. So when we have these high vibrational practices in our field and in our awareness and in our practice, then we're able to actually quickly come back to the voice of the soul and see what our bigger picture is, see what our true message is, see what our true path is, and see what would be the highest soul choice in our situations, instead of going into negative programming and patterning that brings us out of that. The truth is that we need to learn and we need to practice becoming the receiver of all of the gold that is in our pathways, in our dharma, in our service. And we need to attract from this space of high vibrational spacing and qualities, and basically high vibrational cellular stimulated beautiful, beautiful energized spaces, so that we can really put out what we want to receive back. And until we do the work to really believe it to be true, then sometimes we're going to keep getting these negative situations back. I'm going to give a couple of examples. So right now, my dog is going to go and increase his frequency. This is what he does. He goes out into the sunlight, and the sunlight really is a very big supporter in his vibration staying high. So if I let him, he would go in and out all day. He goes into the sun, bathes in the sun, his vibration increases, and he feels vital again. And then he comes in and cools off. And this is what we want to do with high vibrational practices, is we want to have a series of them in place each day that we know keep us connected to our soul. Because when we're connected to our soul and we are clear in the pathways through the mental, physical, and emotional, we can get into these states of really profound manifestation, because we really truly know and believe and are fully aware of what we have the capacity to draw back to us. Whereas let's look at a couple of situations. If I'm going to give you different ways of looking at this. Firstly, let's look at it professionally. If I'm running an event and I want to have 30 people at that event, and if I know that I have the capacity 100%, 1000% to bring 30 people into that event, and I visualize those people coming in, and I journal about those people coming in, and I visualize and manifest them, and I feel the emotion of them coming in, and I see them benefiting from it. I imagine and I sense and I create in my meditation what they get from it, how much it benefits them, the ripple effect that it has on the whole of the human race because those people are attending, how it changes their lives and how it changes the lives of the people around them. And I know that I can bring them in, and I see it clearly, and I spend time devoting time to seeing it. I will bring 30 people into that event. If I say I want 30 people to come to that event and then I do nothing, and I sit there going, ooh, that's going to be really hard to fill that event. I don't think people are going to buy tickets. Maybe the tickets are too expensive. Or I think people are not going to be available on that day. That's going to be a really tricky day to fill. Or, oh no, there's something else going on that day. So maybe people are going to go to that instead. Or I don't think I'm good enough to hold space for that many people. Then that is what is going out. And so that is what I'm going to bring back. It doesn't matter whether I say I'm going to bring 30 people back or whether I write it down on a piece of paper. If I don't believe, and if I'm not able to feel the emotion that I would feel did I have 30 people there, then I will not get those 30 people, because I do not have the energetics. I do not have the vibrational patterning. I do not have the karmic exchange. I do not have a match for what I want to bring back. I am not a match for it. I'm sending out a totally different message in my energetics, and that is what will come back to me. If I want that ideal partner, and I've written down on paper and I've seen what I want and I can visualize it and I can imagine it, and I'm, yeah, okay. And I really, this is what he looks like, or this is what she looks like. This is what they do for me. This is how we connect, blah, blah, blah. But if I sit there inside in my energetics, in my emotional body going, that's never going to happen. I'm never going to get that. I'm not good enough for that. Why would he want to be with me? Why would she want to be with me? Why would she choose me? I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy of that. And, oh, I've had those bad relationships in the past, and I'm definitely going to get that again. And I always attract the wrong person. This is a big one. I always have men that do that, or I always attract women that do that. That is the energy that you are programming into this whole situation. So that is the energy that you're going to get back. And you're going to find that you're going to end up in a relationship where you draw back something that is toxic, harmful, a repetitive pattern of things that you've called in before, or whether you just hear crickets in that area because nothing will come to you. Without the peace around the emotional and the energetic part, we will not be able to align ourselves to what we really want to call in. This is paramount. It is essential for your business to thrive, for your relationships to thrive, for your friendships to work, for any connection in your life, anything you want to call in. It is essential that you are a vibrational match for it, that you've done the groundwork, and that you are fully ready to receive it in a space knowing 100% for it to be true for you. How do we do that? We clear out the emotional body. We receive energy healing. We receive coaching. We have a person that we work with. We do the work. We manifest. We journal. We practice. And the key thing is to keep your vibration high. So what do? You eat well. You exercise. You journal. You meditate. You move your body. And this is going to be individual to you. There is not going to be a one size fits all. That's why working with coaches and energy healers and various different types of therapists and practitioners is essential, because we will all have different blockages. We will all have different imbalances. We'll all have different areas that we need to focus on. At the end of the day, if there is emotional blockage that's preventing you from feeling the way that you would feel, and experiencing what you would experience were it to be true, if there is something blocking that, you are not going to call in what you want to call in. So it's time to do the work, beautiful people. It is time to put it into practice. It's time to re-energize those parts of you and allow yourself to become the receiver of what is really in true alignment for you. If you have these stories, then work on that. If you have these imbalances and blocks, then work on that. And if you already know the things that are in your field that you need to spend some time with, then ask yourself why you are not already doing it. I want you to really sit with why you're choosing not to prioritize the things that are going to bring you this amazing flow in your life. And if you're not sure, then why are you not reaching out for help? Why are you not calling in on support? Meditation is something that we can all connect to very easily and very cheaply, and it's very available to everybody. So we really have to ask ourselves why we're not really asking for those things, why we're not stepping into them, and this alignment. We need to become a vibrational match for what we want to call back. And it really does require creating a vision and then making sure we can create the feeling of that vision becoming reality. This is an opportunity for you to reach out to me to personalize this journey. If you know that you have so much potential, which you do have, we all do have, and you can even vision or visualize or even imagine yourself doing certain things, but then there feels like there's big blockage for you getting there, then you need to work on the emotion. And we need to work on the energy body. It doesn't matter how much strategy you have. It doesn't matter how much somebody else is going to support you on the dating site or whatever. It doesn't matter any of those things. If your energy is not matching what you want to call in, then there is work to do emotionally. All right, my loves. Thank you so much for listening. Come to me and let's chat about how we can work with your energy body together, and I can facilitate you and guide you into some high vibrational practices that will change your life.